Hey everybody, welcome back.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. How does it feel to be this evening's centerpiece? Figuratively.
This is an outrage. We shall chase these intruders down.
I feel like the newcomer, and I do not like it at all.
Do not be alarmed. The Ascalon Club has a tried and tested policy for choosing its initiates.
May I ask who you are, sir?
Why would you be interested?
Well, as you seem to be the only man in the room with a beating heart, you draw quite a bit of attention yourself.
Ah, vampire senses never cease to fascinate me. They dwarf those of mere mortals. I am Aloysius Dawson, by the way.
Are you a member of the club?
Yes, I am. And I have been for many years. And will be until the day I die.
Are you sick?
Personally, I consider my advancing years are a sickness in itself. My body is slowly abandoning me, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about it?
It's not really my place to give you such information. I am merely a mortal member, and a dying one at that.
Are you not afraid? You are surrounded by vampires.
Sir, it's for that very reason that I joined the club in the first place.
So you asked for membership?
I have been a member of many clubs in many countries. But I must admit, this one is my favorite.
Is not the nature of this club a secret, shared by only a privileged few?
My dear Dr. Reed, I have spent years and a fortune precisely to gather that kind of information.
What can you tell me about Lord Redgrave?
I would not dare speak of our chairman without his consent.
Mr. Dawson, of Dawson and Dawson, the wealthiest man in England. It is a pleasure to meet such a prominent figure of London.
A withering London figurehead, to be precise.
Are you sick, Mr. Dawson? I am a doctor, you know.
My case is beyond the scope of traditional medicine. I have spent fortunes on the world's most competent doctors to arrive at that diagnostic conclusion.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Should I suppose that you're here in search of some form of immortality?
Absolutely not. I'm here to implement my plan to save the city I was born in. To cast out the ghastly evil that has us all on our knees.
What do you know about the Guard of Priwen?
I should not say this, but I admire their commitment. This is what the nation needs right now.
But they are our enemies.
They are not mine, Dr. Reed.
Would you help them?
No. There is a time for such methods. But brute force will not be enough to fight this plague. We have to think differently.
What is the situation like in this part of town?
I am sure Lord Redgrave will enlighten you more effectively than I.
Money cannot solve every problem. This mysterious epidemic is going to require more than money can buy.
You're right. Money is nothing unless one has the will to wield it. I have a plan, sir. A radical one that will save all that is essential in London.
What is your plan, then?
Quarantine and barricades are futile. What we need is a wall. A formidable, unscalable wall to isolate the deserving from the infected masses.
By doing so, you would create two separate ghettos. What if the disease gets past the wall? The results would be disastrous.
Not if we eliminate all suspected cases of infection as soon as they appear. A necessary sacrifice.
Are you not mistaking sacrifice for summary execution?
Why do you care? Are you not a vampire? Removed from all mortal concerns? Decisiveness is what the city needs, and it needs it now.
I know we're facing a crisis, but I'm shocked no one took the time to clean up the mess inside the club since we were attacked.
I must admit the Guard of Prewen impressed me. They must have spent years preparing their plan.
That went well, did it not? It is always useful to bolster the troops' morale, especially before a difficult battle.
You have the makings of a general, my lord.
I was, though very long ago, well, not quite a general, but a proud defender of the crown.
So why did you really want to meet me?
Straight to the point again, young Ekon. All right, let's talk, you and I, Lance Sparrow.
I'm listening, my lord.
According to my spies, you have worked with Dr. Edgar Swansea on the epidemic, and your findings were quite alarming.
Do you know Edgar Swansea?
Not personally, but I've been told he has some sort of immortal fetish and is a good friend of yours.
Does it bother you that I consider him my good friend?
As long as you reveal nothing of the club's inner workings, why should I forbid you engaging in conversation with the good Dr. Swansea?
You were spying on me.
Not personally. I rarely leave this building. But once he found you, Fergal kept me informed. Until you put an end to his mission.
Who was Fergal? I don't see him sipping tea with the others in the club.
Fergal Banshire was my squire of sorts. Even before becoming that magnificent beast, he was a brute. He served me well for decades.
No, I mean, what was he? He was clearly no ordinary vampire.
No, he was a Volcod. All muscles and instinct. Quite the rare breed. Ferociously territorial. Mortals often mistake them for werewolves.
You do know I killed him.
Yes.
Will you bear ill will towards me for his death?
Of course not. Your victory was quite impressive and courageous. You earned my respect.
Yes, I'm convinced the recent invasion of frenzied Skulls in London is directly linked to the epidemic. This is not the Spanish flu, but something else.
I would be glad to hear more of your discoveries, Dr. Reed, but for now, my main concern is the security of London's inhabitants, both mortal and immortal.
What do you mean?
Alarmed by the epidemic, the Guard of Prewen has started a war against us British vampires. To appease the situation, we must eradicate the Skulls.
Skulls are hostile vectors of contagion. That is a fact. But first and foremost, they are victims.
I agree, Dr. Reed. Most of the new Skulls who roam the streets at night used to be good British citizens. But they must be put down nevertheless.
So, what do you want me to do?
I want you to investigate the city thoroughly. I have reason to fear there are cases of contagion in this part of town. Our absolute priority is to find and cleanse them.
And how would you like me to proceed?
By all means necessary, Dr. Reed. You are now a member of the Ascalon Club, and you have carte blanche. Interrogate the locals, follow all the leads you find, and get results.
So, I take it I have level... Yep, level 4. But I can't nail all the regular people until I have level 5. And I can't really push the districts any much further.
I think Lord Redgrave just suggested I was sired by an ancient vampire.
Support the equality between men and women.
Good evening, Miss Ashbury.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual recently?
A few days ago, I spotted a strange house while campaigning for women's suffrage. awful smell. No answer when I knocked.
Where is it?
It's the Mullaneys, a nice family who live in a big house near the park in the eastern part of this neighborhood.
Goodbye, Charlotte. Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights.
Now you're ready.
Don't let any strangers come into your house.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
I may have a look.
Oh, that just cancels out completely. What's this one? What was...
That building is under quarantine. Could this be what I'm looking for?
Hmm? Oh. The fuck?
I have this thirst for blood. I can't believe I'm doing this.
I can't believe you're still complaining after this many chapters. Pump action shotgun. But the... Fucking hell! Really? What the goddamn? Get off me! Fucking get your skanky ass bitch with it. Goddamn queef bomb.
I've never seen such a radical mutation. Could it be a new stage in the disease's evolution?
Thank you for the precious perfume and the fur coat. I can't wait to feel your hands on my shivering skin. For only you, my hero, can make me feel that desire. Please come back to me soon. For I'm dying to press my timid bosom to your chest again. Yes, my beloved, my precious, come back to me, and I promise you a night of eternal and unbridled passion. Right now, I'm wearing nothing but your last gifts. I am Doris Fletcher.
So the husband had an affair with Doris Fletcher.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't leave your letters lying around for... It's essentially the same as your bitch going through your cell phone, so... It's on you, buddy. I wonder if Doris Fletcher is going to be some disease-ridden bitch who's basically fucking everybody and giving them the lurgy. Kinda like that one quest in, what was it, Jezebel or whatever? The one quest in Vampyr Bloodlines. Hey buddy, I need some good trigger parts. Can you fuck off and die? Please fuck off and die. Oh wait, hold on, I need blood. Nom 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 nom! Ooh, good handle part. Thank you, kind sir. Now please fuck off and go eat a dick. No one cares for your shenanigans. Fuck am I? Oh, wait. I keep thinking that fucking circle is where I'm at. No, not this down here.
Murderous bastard!
It's a leech!
I'm sure Kaloon Russell has no interest in such a conventional menu.
Whoops. Fuck it. Okay, so somewhere in this area there's another fucking restaurant. Huh.
A restaurant where the guests are blindfolded before being seated. Intriguing.
So where are... So if I sleep, I might be able to buy more parts from... Also, isn't Emily's... Ah, rivets. There we go. White phosphorus? Where the fuck am I supposed to get that at? Crap, more rivets. Still haven't found the recipe for that stuff. Neuralgia? So basically I can nail everybody except the priest and...
No shipping.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I don't want to lose this district, so yet. Not at least, not until I can, you know, properly, you know, deal with everybody.
Good evening, my dear colleague.
You look ill, Miss Swanborough. I wonder if your concoction will do the trick.
I have no doubt it will. But I'm not against a second opinion, Dr. Reed.
Well, there you have it. Take this remedy, but be discreet. It may damage your business otherwise.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Miss Swanborough.
Joe, please, I don't have your money. Come on, Barrett, you know the game. You pay for peace of mind.
Good evening, Hap.
Sure. Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
So, may I ask...
I'm not Bob.
Do you need any...
Yes, I do.
You'll feel better with this.
I'm not
Goodbye, young man.
Even my dreams are soaked with glue.
Richard Nethercott.
Good evening, Christina.
Change your...
Do you need any assistance?
It...
I am shocked.
Forgive my suspicion.
Good.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you need...
That would be nice of...
If you persist in
Thank you.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby.
Alright, who the fuck was Richard Nethercott? And I don't remember, Oh,
Good
this
evening.
dumbass.
And good evening. Do you need... It may be what... I understand your appetite. I'll leave you alone.
There is no protection against malevolence and trickery.
So wait, who's this? Seriously, who's this? Oh, wait. Okay, I know where I'm at. Wait a second, I think I know where he is. He was,
The Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all your problems. As long...
Oh, I don't actually remember where he's at. I think he's over here, maybe? I don't know.
You have the money.
Anyhow.
Women's right to vote is only the first step.
Alright, what are you selling today?
Good evening, Doctor.
I have found a restaurant that could satisfy you, Mr. Russell. The most intriguing and exotic restaurant in London.
Really? You have piqued my interest. Where is it?
It's a place where you eat in complete darkness and try to identify your meal without anything but your palate.
My, oh my, how interesting. It could even be fun to eat a little poisson et frites that way. Oh, thank you, Dr. Reed. Please, have this for your research.
Okay.
I may have a look at your goods.
So, what new crap did you...
Good evening.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual?
Not really. Wait, now that you mention it, I don't see the McPhersons in my favorite restaurants. They love delicate meals too, you understand.
Thank you. It may be nothing, but I'll investigate anyway. Where do they live?
They have a house in the southern part of the district, somewhere north of the railway bridge. There is a courtyard, if I remember rightly.
Goodbye, Mr. Russell.
I'm hungry. Where shall I eat tonight?
Women of all countries
Okay, I already
unite.
investigated that one.
London has brought so much pain to me. Connect me to the city anymore.
We meet again, Mr. Kimura, in a more peaceful situation.
Dr. Reed, still visiting London by night?
We must both be nocturnal animals, you and I. After your captivity, I thought you'd be more cautious.
Breathing the cold night air helps calm my mind, sir. I've had the most frightening nightmares since I escaped that filthy jail.
May I ask you what you do for a living, Mr. Kimura?
I was a landlord. A wealthy one. And not a very kind one, I realized recently.
Why this sudden epiphany? Is it because of your near-death experience?
I was already feeling nostalgic about Weymouth, my hometown. With recent events, I'm thinking about going back there.
How is the situation in the West End?
I've heard rumors about armed men patrolling and fighting infected citizens in these very streets. I was lucky they didn't shoot me when I was abducted.
What can you tell me about your abduction?
If you really want to know, I was locked in that building for 3 or 4 days. My jailer was insane, mumbling about sacrifice and voices.
And why didn't he sacrifice you?
That was the weirdest part. He claimed to spill blood was not enough. It had to be done when some stars were aligned.
Which stars?
That's the whole point. He wanted me to talk to him about some Red Queen configuration or constellation. I've never heard of such an astronomical term.
What did he say about voices?
He constantly whined about the voice of his master, ordering him to do terrible things. He wanted to silence the voice by offering blood. My blood.
Why are you so nostalgic for your hometown, Tadao?
I was focused so much on making money, I almost forgot that my relatives and friends are threatened by this epidemic.
Have you heard anything from your family?
I was not only a bad landlord, I was also a bad husband. I've not seen my wife and son for years. Busy, busy, busy.
At least now you're ready to go back and see them. But don't be surprised if your son bears a grudge, sir.
You make it sound like you suffered from an absent father yourself, Dr. Reed. Well, I'll keep your warning in mind.
Have you no friends at all?
Over the years, I'm afraid my greed turned me into my friend's adversary, while I became friends with my professional rivals.
Those you grew up with didn't share your views on money and success.
Would you believe I was once a member of poetry circles and an astronomy club? We were young, such joyful dreamers then. But I stopped laughing long ago.
Can you change? And is it what you really want? If so, it must come from within, not without.
I've seen what an altruistic gesture can do. Nothing forced you to save me, Dr. Reed, but you did. I will follow your example in these matters from now on.
There is no need to thank me. Rescuing a London citizen should not be out of the ordinary. Though I'm afraid it may appear so in these difficult times.
You did not only rescue me, you fought for me. You put your life in danger to save me. That's quite extraordinary.
How will you cope if you're attacked again?
I don't know. I've heard about these men and women who patrol the West End every night, chasing criminals like my abductor. Maybe I should join them.
Tell me, Tadao, why was your abductor so interested in your passion for astronomy?
I don't know. We met a few times at the Royal Greenwich Observatory. He seemed to share my hobby. Then he invited me to his house and locked me in.
Goodbye, Mr. Kimura. Take care.
Is there anything to connect me to
Oh, I
this?
can go see Venus now. Now, if I can actually manage to get into Emily's. It says it's up there. Oh wait, maybe I can... Can I Banff? Is there anywhere to Banff? Oh wait, maybe I need to get in and see Venus and I can bam from like a balcony or something. Hey Venus, you want my penis?
Hello again, Venus.
Jonathan, you're still up. Can't you just knock at people's doors during the day?
No, sun burns me.
I'm sure you can spare me a few minutes. For old time's sake.
Of course you may enter, Jonathan. At least you survived the Great War. I feared the worst.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Venus.
So you returned from the war in one piece too. Thank God. My Clarence is back home too.
How is the old rascal?
Probably outside, chasing ghosts and chimeras. Clarence has changed a lot since he returned from the war, you know.
Have you noticed anything peculiar about the neighborhood recently?
You mean except for your return to town? No. Oh, and again, Jonathan. Please accept my condolences for your mother and your sister. Such a tragedy.
Thank you, Venus. It was so sudden. And I've been so busy, I haven't spoken to anyone about it.
I wish I could have assisted at the funeral, but you know, it's been so quick. And what with the epidemic in the streets?
There's no need to apologize, my dear. It's normal, considering the circumstances.
No, it's not. I am sure that Clarence has not even thought to present you his condolences. He is too busy with his penny dreadful stories.
Why is my return so surprising?
It's more an unexpected happy end than a surprise. You and Clarence, back from the war. You have no idea how hard it's been for me.
How have you been since the last time we met? How long has it been? 3 years now?
I've done my duty, like all British women. You have no idea what it was like to wait for months without knowing if I'd still be a wife or a widow.
I understand. Luckily, this part of town has been saved from the worst of the bombings, from what I've seen.
Yes, and it's also true about the epidemic. The flu has killed here too, of course, but not on such a large scale as in other parts of town.
Venus, why do you worry so much about your family's reputation?
Everyone laughs at Clarence now. And they avoid me because they believe I share his insane opinions. I'm a leper in my own community.
Tell me about Clarence's obsession with vampires.
It drives me so crazy it makes my stomach hurt. I was so relieved to have him back. But I quickly realized he'd lost his mind in France.
I understand your irritation, Venus. But you have to accept the trauma Clarence endured on the battlefield.
The question is simple, Jonathan. Is my husband mad? Yes or no? Do vampires exist? Or is Clarence a lunatic?
The important question is, what do you really think of your husband?
I'm tough, Jonathan. He should have told me the horrors he witnessed, however appalling it was, instead of inventing a fantasy about blood-drinking monsters.
So you don't believe Clarence?
If poor Mary, bless her soul, had tried to convince you of the existence of bloody vampires, would you have believed her? Seriously?
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual?
The McPhersons. I heard they locked themselves in their own house.
They could just be afraid of getting sick.
Perhaps you're right. But if I were you, I'd pay them a visit. A big house, reachable through a courtyard, to the north of the railway bridge.
I already murdered him.
Goodbye for now.
Hey, remember that game we used to play back 3 years ago, where I loot your house, and you try to guess what I stole?
were such a beautiful family.
By the way, you got any white phosphorus in here? I kind of need to stuff it down the barrel in my shotgun.
At least you survived the Great War. I feared the worst. What do you... I'm so sorry for your loss, Jonathan.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you got any white phosphorus lying around, I mean, I'm surprised your husband doesn't have white phosphorus. It burns vampires and werewolves really well. By the way, don't go over to Whitechapel. They got random werewolves and plague monsters.
It's locked, all right.
Lockjaw stuck. Venus's journal. I spent the last day and night crying tears of joy. Did not know how bliss could be so painful. My Clarence just wrote me. Back from the war alive and unharmed. He'll be home 2 weeks. Thank you, God. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see his husband again. Clarence's attitude still worries me. He's not the same since he came back. First few weeks I thought it was just a necessary adjustment period, but his behavior seems to be more and more erratic. Nowadays he spends all his time outside day and night searching for evidence. He doesn't care about the flu, and he doesn't care about me. He's starting to frighten me. I can't believe this. Clarence spent half his pension to print some stupid leaflets he now wants to freely give away in the neighborhood. People are starting to laugh at me, and now he wants to organize some public lecture on the recently closed theater to warn people about the presence of evil creatures in London. Chavs! Free entry, of course. Husband may have come back unharmed from the war, but I'm afraid he's lost his mind. Clarence just confessed that he has not spent half his pension, but all of it plus some of our savings. Paper and inks cost so much because of the war, he said, but it's a cost we must pay. People openly mock us now. I don't know what to do. Today the butcher, Mr. Galway, sent me a monthly fee and requested payment in full. He also told me he now demands to be paid each time we buy some meat from his shop. No more credit. Baker asked the same thing 2 days ago. First I thought it was a new policy because of the restrictions to the epidemic, but it seems my friends still have financial arrangements in the same shop. I was so ashamed I could not speak. We can't keep on like this. Clarence is completely mad. He's spending all the money we have, and I don't see how to stop him. Sometimes I wish he didn't come back to the war. Ruh-roh. Do vampires have allies among the living? Yes, they do. They call themselves the Brotherhood. And they serve their immortal masters in many ways. Probably in exchange for privileges and knowledge. Somewhere in London is the seat of their power, where the secret council conspire against us. I call it the Lost Library. It's a place where these traitors gather many occult and lost books. I personally offer £1,000 to the first who can give me proof of the existence of the library and exact location. Aha! So, Venus, we need to talk about how you want your husband dead and what I can do to help.
What do you...
What do you think about Clarence squandering his fortune on his obsession?
Soon we'll be poor and forced to sell the house. Where will we go? In which filthy, infected part of town will we end up? I'm so afraid.
Goodbye.
Oh, don't worry. You'll end up in a random mass grave somewhere, just as soon as I get my mesmerized high enough that I can take out the most prominent people in this district, as well as Whitechapel. Aha. So, that is how you get up here.
No invitation is needed to enter this building. That can't be a good thing.
Dear Jacques, can't wait to see you again tonight, tomorrow. Can't hardly wait since we kissed on that bridge while the moon was so bright in the sky. I want to feel your teeth on our lips. excruciating pain. Bite on the neck. Ah. Now you're going to kill me right there on the bridge in the middle of the night. Delicate fiance, huh? Oh, okay. She knows he's a vampire. Play with her a little like you taught me how to play with mortals, then I'll turn into one of those two and we'll rule the nights in London.
Emily wanted to... No sign of a struggle. It seems Charlotte's friend knew the killer and let him in.
Good job. You got your asshole eaten by a froggy French vampire. Oh.
Blood. I should follow the trail.
Okay, I don't think this blood was here earlier. Was it? Uh-oh. Shut up.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
I could ask you the same question.
I'm the Marquis de Bois-Colombes, and I strongly invite you to find your own game, sir.
I intend to do so very soon, thank you. But for the moment, I'd like to shed light on the death of a young woman killed by a vampire.
A young woman killed by a vampire? Oh, you're joking, right? Oh, I do love the British sense of humor.
And who exactly are you?
I am Jacques-Michel Guillaume Florimond de Marquis de Bois-Colombes, at your service, my dear cousin.
Dear cousin? Are we related?
We could be of the same blood, my dear. I tend to consider all Econs as family, don't you?
You're French, but your English is quite good.
I was born in France, sir, but I consider myself a traveler of this world. So many countries, so many tantalizing tastes.
What are you doing here?
I recently decided to visit London. I've always dreamed of visiting a city on the verge of collapse. Such a delicate, yet intense spectacle.
What do you plan to do here?
Take pleasure. Take pictures. Enjoy the show. Have fun. Believe me, I won't be the only foreign immortal who bought a ticket to the fair.
You take pleasure from others' misery.
I have been a totally depraved and immoral creature since the day I was reborn, sir. And probably before.
I followed the trail of blood from her room to here.
Oh, you're referring to that young woman. Yes, the meeting turned messy. I'm afraid I ruined my last redingote.
So you admit you murdered her?
I admit nothing, my good sir. I only regret the blood of that girl staining my clothes. Oh, blood can be so messy.
What happened?
She wanted to become one of us. Not the first time I have received such a proposal, but I must admit her direct approach tempted me.
And then what?
The body rejected my blood. It happens, you know, sometimes even with voluntary prey. At least her gurglings brought me some fun, until the artery burst.
Your cruelty deserves punishment, sir.
And what else is new?
Well then. Found out what happened to Emily. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Later.